Alright, this is a collective reading. If this found you, there's probably a message for you here. If you do not like what comes up, this reading's probably not for you. So, good luck. You'll know if this reading's for you. Disney. The word Disney keeps coming up. I want to say it's because of my mug, but it literally is just like, my brain's just like, Disney, 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 just the word over and over again. I have my tea mug with the villains. If you've watched Once Upon a Time, you'll notice that all of their origin stories, most of them, I don't know about Maleficent, but the other three, Cruella, the Evil Queen, Ursula, their origin stories are very interesting in Once Upon a Time, and, you know, the way they become villains, just, you know, things are misconstrued, you know, emotions, heartbreak, and such things led to their path of darkness. Which kind of reminds me a bit of, like, the dark feminine goddesses, mother goddesses, such as Kali, Sekhmet, Hecate, who else? Coatlicue. Coatlicue is from the indigenous cultures of the Americas. She's, I would say, like a similar equivalent to Kali or Sekhmet in terms of similarities. And they also get a bad rep. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. You know, things aren't always as it seems. Oop. Yeah, things aren't always as they seem. Whoa. Okay. Queens. Yeah. And with the theme, Queens. Divine Feminine. Beginnings, new beginnings. Paths, the path less traveled. This one came out in the reverse. Pets could be significant. That keeps coming up. Dogs and cats. You see the moon? The face is on the shadowed part and the shaded part, the dark side. It's still there. The light shines on that other side. I don't know, just for some reason that called to me. Yeah, I keep hearing the path less traveled will lead to new opportunities, better opportunities. Yeah. Bees, spring. Yeah, the Chariot. So, it looks like you've been through a whole mess of things. Sleepless nights, betrayal, abandonment's coming up. Abandonment issues, abandonment wounds. Apologize if that triggers anyone. Yeah, there's many stories here. We could have mother wounds. Yeah, I'm picking up mother wounds. I'm picking up a lot of like party energy, but not from you. You were a child. Okay, so the image I'm getting is of a child sweeping up a house the next morning after a house party. It's very specific for somebody. Disney movies. I keep hearing Disney movies. Castles. Disney castle. Always wanted to go to Disney. You can now, right? That's on you. You're not a child anymore. The steps you choose on a day-to-day basis define what path you go down. Okay? But after everything you've been through, maybe chosen the wrong path once or twice, and nobody's counting, nobody's judging, nobody's keeping track. The only ones keeping tracks are ourselves. Okay? But I actually see reconciliation. I talked about mother wounds, reconciliation, new opportunities, moving. Somebody could be moving out of state, moving cross country. But the Ace of Pentacles, and talked about the path less traveled. There's an opportunity. There is an opportunity for you to make a choice. It might be a little bit scary, it might be a little bit uncomfortable. Something that takes you out of your comfort zone. That opportunity will lead to abundance, whether it be emotional, financial, spiritual, physical. It will lead to abundance. Really sorry for what you guys have gone through. This is a lot, but yeah, death and rebirth. Confirmation. Like, the old you can say goodbye to the old you. There's a new you coming. A new you emerging. A new you has emerged. Don't allow the old patterns from the old you to veer you away from this, from your gifts, from what is awaiting you. Light and dark. Choices. Okay? Stay true to your path. Lions. Lions could be significant. Leo energy. The Mother came out in the reverse. This confirmation, if I freaking had any. King of Air. Allow yourself to be light as air, to flow. You know, reconciliation and healing and mother wounds don't necessarily mean that you have to be in an active relationship with this person. We can forgive from a distance. There can be reconciliation from a distance. It does not mean that these entities have to continue being a part of our lives if we don't want them to. That is our choice. Okay? Be kind to yourself. Give to yourself. Allow yourself to receive. Be generous with yourself and others. This Mercury retrograde is coming up. I think the last day is the 20th, and then there's still like the little hangover trickling after a week later. But Wisdom, King of Earth, stability, abundance, King of Earth, King of Pentacles. Dude, I swear, your gifts are coming to you. Hang on tight. Mercury retrograde may have given you the opportunity to fall back into the old you. Okay? But those opportunities aren't things to fear, to veer away from. They are opportunities to observe and learn from. Okay? So it's very simple to just head back, especially during these times. So, you know, Source, Spirit Guides, Angels, God, they're encouraging you, urging you to hold on, just hold on. This is the last little purging that you have to do for these gifts to come through. Okay? You're releasing the blockages. Wisdom. Yeah, wisdom. Mercury retrograde gives you the opportunity to observe and learn from your mistakes. It's wisdom. So that we don't end up here. We can be here. Okay? Kali. Alright, this is probably gonna be a short one. Kali's usually like the last. Ooh. Hello. Krishna, you can have what you need and desire, but must be prepared to enter into a sacred fire to make the appropriate offering. Shifting from focus on what isn't working to handing over all concerns as a prayer offering to the divine. All can then be resolved and shall manifest accordingly to loving and generous grace. Krishna, I don't pretend that I can pronounce any of this properly. You can have what you need and desire, but you must be prepared to enter into the sacred fire to make the appropriate offering. Death and rebirth. The offering is your past self, the things you have let go. All right, that sacred fire is that pain that our nervous system encounters when we let go of negative habits and patterns in order to rise above, to be a different person. That is the ego speaking. That is the ego screaming to take back control. Okay? That is the sacrifice, is the ego. Okay? You're doing great. Keep it up. You're doing great. Everything. This is what we're waiting for. We're waiting for stability, prosperity, abundance. Okay? The path less traveled. It is very, very easy, especially in those last moments, just before everything's about to work out. You get the biggest challenges, the biggest tests, and more often than not, it is easier to just go back to what we know, because rising above is in the unknown, and that scares the ego. That scares that part of us that needs to be in control. Okay? Yeah. Alright. Thank you for joining me in my creative space, and thank you for... My phone died just as I was doing my outro, but what I was saying is it really shows that you've been putting in the work. After everything you've gone through, you've been putting in the work. This last little sprint, it's just, we gotta just get through it, okay? But thank you for loving yourself. Thank you for choosing yourself, okay? Thank you for joining me in my creative space. My name is Naraya. Thanks. Keep going. Keep it up.